Welcome to the Explainer by SenseTalking. So, we've all heard the promises of the AI revolution, right? That it's going to change everything. But what happens when these incredibly powerful systems actually leave the lab and meet the messy, unpredictable real world? Well, let's dive in, because the reality is often a lot stranger and honestly a lot more frustrating than we've been led to believe.
It all kind of starts with something that sounds like a joke. This is a real order from a real person given to an AI drive-thru at a Taco Bell. Now, you and I can tell they're asking for a drink, but the AI, it hears large mouth soup. And yeah, it's funny, but it's also the perfect snapshot of the bizarre communication breakdowns that are happening everywhere.
And look, this isn't just a one-off thing, not by a long shot. McDonald's just recently had to scrap its own AI drive-thru trials because people were getting things like ice cream topped with bacon or finding hundreds of dollars worth of chicken nuggets tacked onto their order. These aren't just quirky little glitches, they are expensive, widespread failures.
Now, what's really fascinating is this quote from Taco Bell's own chief technology officer. This just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the #1 problem with the AI we're all interacting with right now. It's not that it's always bad, it's that you never know what you're going to get. And that unpredictability, that's a massive, massive hurdle.
And if you're thinking, okay, so this is just a fast food problem, you might want to see this. A recent MIT report surveyed business leaders and found a truly staggering statistic. 95% of corporate AI projects fail to deliver any measurable value. Let that sink in, 95%. The hype is running headfirst into a brick wall of reality. So what on earth is going so wrong? Well, the heart of the problem, the technical flaw that affects even the biggest, most expensive AI models out there, has a specific name. It's called the hallucination problem. Let's break down what that actually means because it's key to understanding everything else. To put it simply, an AI hallucinates when it just invents stuff. It spits out information that's totally false, makes no sense, or is just plain wrong, but it delivers it with all the confidence of a college professor. The craziest part? It has no idea it's not telling the truth.
So, why does this even happen? Well, today's AI isn't thinking like a human. Not really. It's basically a super powerful pattern-matching machine. It scanned a huge chunk of the internet, learning the statistical chance that one word will follow another. It's just predicting the next most likely word in a sentence. It has zero concept of truth or facts. So when it runs into a question it doesn't know the answer to, it doesn't stop. It just keeps predicting the next word and the next, confidently making things up as it goes. Okay, so let's connect the dots. We have this technical flaw, hallucinations. What happens when you take that flawed system and drop it into an office to boost efficiency? Well, the burden often falls on the actual human employees to clean up the AI's mess.
Just take a look at this person's story. Their company bought AI software, hoping to replace scheduling staff. And the result? The people who are left now have to do their regular jobs, plus spend extra time babysitting the AI, constantly double-checking its work for mistakes. The tool that was supposed to save labor actually created more of it.
And in some jobs, the stakes are way, way higher. Here we have a medical setting where the AI file sorter gets basic things wrong, sometimes confusing the doctor with the patient. I mean, when you're dealing with someone's health records, that kind of unreliability isn't just inefficient, it's downright dangerous.
And this next one, this is a perfect example of hallucination in action. This AI was supposed to take notes during meetings, but it consistently just made up between 5 and 20% of the summary. Think about that. It was creating an official record of things people never even said, totally corrupting the information it was built to protect.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty bad, right? But here's the twist. That same MIT report with that scary 95% failure rate, it also pointed out that some companies are having incredible success with AI. So what's their secret? What are they doing differently?
The secret sauce, it turns out, is all about how you implement AI. The data is crystal clear. Companies that try to build some big, general, do-everything AI tool in-house, they only succeed about a third of the time. But the companies that use specialized AI from a vendor to solve one very specific, narrow problem, they have a 67% success rate. That is double the effectiveness. It shows you can't just throw AI at a problem. You have to be surgical.
This huge gap between the hype and the on-the-ground reality is giving a lot of analysts a serious case of déjà vu. It's making them look to the past for a comparison, and it's leading to a powerful and maybe a little worrying analogy.
Does any of this look familiar? Think back to the dot-com bubble in the 90s.
You had companies with massive valuations, an investor frenzy, and a lot of unproven business models. All you needed was .com in your name. Fast forward to today, and we're seeing the same thing. Huge valuations for AI companies that have yet to prove they can actually make a sustainable profit.
And to put a real number on this, just look at a leader in the field like OpenAI. The estimated cost to run their models is a mind-boggling $40 billion a year. Their revenue? It's closer to 15 or 20 billion. That is a massive, massive gap. A cash burn that's being fueled almost entirely by investor hype. And the warning signs don't stop there. We're seeing product updates that don't quite live up to the hype. Companies spending insane amounts on computer chips and skyrocketing electricity use. Meanwhile, those big promises of 40% cost savings for businesses, they just aren't showing up in the economic data. It all points to a classic bubble. So, if we are in a period of inflated hype, what does history tell us happens next? Does the bubble just pop and that's the end of it? Well, actually, there's a pretty well-known model for how we adopt new technologies, and it gives us a potential roadmap for the future of AI. It's called the Gartner Hype Cycle. It always starts with a technology trigger, some new breakthrough. Then we shoot up to the peak of inflated expectations, which is where the hype is just deafening. After that, though, comes the crash, into the trough of disillusionment. This is when the tech fails to deliver on the promises, and people lose interest. But after the crash, the real work begins. We climb the slope of enlightenment as we find useful, real-world applications. And finally, we reach the plateau of productivity, where the technology just becomes a normal, boring, and genuinely valuable part of our lives.
So that brings us to the final big question, and this one is for you. After everything we've looked at today, from the soup ordering chatbots and the corporate failures to the massive investor cash burn, looking at this cycle, where do you think we are with AI right now? Are we still riding high on that peak of inflated expectations, or are we about to tip over into that trough of disillusionment?